Hello, friends, and welcome to the show. So, fears of gas price surge after DarkSide cyberattack shuts down Colonial Pipeline between Texas and New Jersey that carries 45% of East Coast fuel. Experts call it the most significant assault on infrastructure to date in the United States. I call it the most significant coincidence of Joe Biden's presidency, and I'll explain why at the end. But before we get started, how about you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. It helps with the algorithm. Let's get started. The largest gasoline pipeline in the country was shut down on Friday after a sophisticated ransomware attack, which experts are calling the most dramatic cyber attack on U.S. soil to date. In a Saturday statement, Colonial Pipeline said that it proactively took certain systems offline to contain the threat, which has temporarily halted all pipeline operations and affected some of our IT systems. And that's pretty common standard operating procedure of IT system administrators. You want to isolate that system, that way your entire network isn't compromised. The hackers are likely a professional cyber criminal group, and a group dubbed DarkSide was among the potential suspects, two U.S. government officials told Reuters. Bloomberg News, citing people familiar with the matter, reported late on Saturday that the hackers are part of DarkSide and took nearly 100 gigabytes of data out of Colonial's network on Thursday ahead of the pipeline shutdown. So, 100 gigabytes of data was uploaded, and Colonial's cybersecurity experts didn't see it, didn't notice it. Like I said, extremely coincidental. I don't like coincidences. DarkSide is known for deploying ransomware and extorting victims while avoiding targets in post-Soviet states. It is believed to be based in Russia, and it's always Russia. It's always Russia, guys. Hunter Biden's laptop was a Russian disinformation campaign after he never denied it was his laptop. They say it was a Russian disinformation campaign that the information was released, but not that the information was true. Remember that. DarkSide first emerged in August 2020 and has used its ransomware on companies, including CompuCom, an Office Depot subsidiary, as well as a Canadian division of rental car company Enterprise. According to data security firms, DarkSide finds vulnerabilities in a network, gains access to administrators' accounts, and then harvests data from the victim's server and encrypts it. It's usually done by social engineering, through phishing, and somebody inputs their username and password on a spoofed version of the website, and then the hackers get that information. It's really not as sexy as it sounds. The software leaves a ransom note text file with demands. Ransoms average more than 6.5 million, and the attacks lead to an average of 5 days of downtime for the business. There are now fears of a major spike in gas, oil, and diesel prices after the jugular of the U.S. Fuel pipeline system was forced to suspend operations. Operations remain shut down as of early Sunday morning. The Colonial Pipeline is responsible for transporting more than 100 million gallons of fuel, 2.5 million barrels daily through pipelines laid out between Texas and New Jersey. It also serves some of the largest U.S. airports, including Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, the world's busiest by passenger traffic, meaning your airline tickets are going to get more expensive. It's going to get more expensive to travel. It's awfully convenient that now that people are wanting to go out more and more because vaccines are kicking in, people believe that we're over the hump, and people wish to get to their normal day-to-day lives. And now gas prices are going to skyrocket, disincentivizing people to live their lives. The government wants you to be locked inside your home, miserable, addicted to pharmaceuticals as you turn into a zombie and kill yourself. President Biden was briefed on the situation on Saturday, with one energy expert telling Politico it is the most significant and successful attack on energy infrastructure we know of in the United States. Well, it's awfully convenient. Again, another coincidence. What is the Joe Biden administration trying to push right now? A massive infrastructure bill that a lot of Americans dislike. The Georgia-based company has hired an outside cybersecurity firm to investigate the nature and scope of the attack, and federal agencies have been called in to assist. So what do I think is going to happen? I believe that the Democrats are going to push for fascism within the United States, the merger of corporation and state. You already see this in China. When an American company wishes to do business within China, the CCP has to have an office within that building, within that corporation, and they can dictate how that business runs its day-to-day operations to ensure that the CCP is happy with what they're doing. And if they go against the CCP's wishes, people tend to disappear, people tend to go to jail, or that business is no longer allowed to conduct business within China. The Georgia-based company has already said that. Other experts predict that a prolonged shutdown could cause a surge in the price of gas, oil, and diesel, particularly across the eastern half of the country. One told Newsweek that motorists should expect a price surge at the pump if the outage lasts 5 or more days, which would result in a shortage. Jumping over to Yahoo News this morning, eye-opener: Biden administration calls state of emergency over pipeline hack. The White House declared a state of emergency after a cyber attack shut down one of America's most important oil pipelines, with a Russian criminal group named as one of the top suspects. So they still don't know who it is. The FBI has been on the case for 3 days and still can't identify the source of the ransomware attack. That is problematic. This is Joe Biden's Department of Justice. This is Joe Biden's FBI, and they can't figure out what's going on. Again, it's awfully coincidental that everything is happening when it's happening. From disclosed.tv, at least 6 tankers booked to ship gasoline from Europe to the U.S. following a cyber attack that shut the United States' top fuel pipeline network. The gasoline shortage in the U.S. East Coast is forcing consumers to head to fuel stations to stock up on fuel, as price hikes are also expected. So far, gasoline prices have remained unchanged, but this could change if the shutdown is prolonged. It is expected that the average gas prices may end up well above $3 a gallon, taking it to pre-pandemic levels. The attack was believed to have been conducted by a criminal gang known as DarkSide. They took almost 100 gigabytes of data hostage, threatening to leak it to the public. FBI and other government agencies worked together to deal with the attackers. The cloud computing system the hackers were using to collect stolen data was taken offline on Saturday. Well, that doesn't mean that they don't have a physical copy of that data either. So, it's awfully convenient, like I said earlier, that as soon as Americans wish to start traveling, that the prices of gas explode. The prices of airfare is going to explode because one of the largest costs for an airline is the fuel used to fly people from point A to point B. So if things explode by 50%, people are going to be less likely to travel. They're going to stay miserable in their homes. But it's not just that. Which countries are the U.S. buying this fuel from? I can't find that information. It just says a fuel dealer, a fuel trade dealer, people who organize trades, I suppose. But there is no documentation as to where this fuel is coming from. My theory is most likely Ukraine, China, and Russia. Places where Hunter Biden has unscrupulous business dealings in. Hunter Biden is still in bed with the Chinese Communist Party. He hasn't gotten rid of his business dealings in China. People say Donald Trump was in the pocket of Vladimir Putin, but there's no evidence where Donald Trump was ever paid by Vladimir Putin. But there is direct evidence that Hunter Biden is being paid by government officials of multiple countries, and that 10% of that money goes to the big man, in which Bobby Linsky has said that the big man is Joe Biden himself. So there's evidence, and nobody is denying any of this. They say, oh, it's a Russian disinformation campaign, but there's a difference between saying it's a disinformation campaign and that is patently false. You see the difference? You can say this was a Russian leak, that the Russians hacked my laptop and exposed that I was doing something potentially criminal or not moral, right? Definitely something immoral, potentially criminal. There's a difference between exposing the truth that makes you look bad, and fabricating a lie, because you can easily disprove a lie. But once the truth gets out, the only thing that the Democrats know how to say is Russia, just like with this pipeline. But what's more concerning is how much is the U.S. spending for this fuel? America was energy independent just a few months ago, and Joe Biden has sought every step of the way to kneecap the American energy industry and have us be dependent on foreign fuel once again. What was the worst thing for Russia? For the US to be energy independent, to be a net exporter of energy. What's probably one of the worst things for China? The same thing. What about Ukraine? The same thing. But now that Joe Biden has business dealings in these three countries, Hunter Biden has business dealings in these three countries in which Joe Biden is a financial beneficiary of, reportedly, he does everything in his power to ensure that the United States is no longer a net exporter of energy. Coincidence? Does that make you feel better about voting for Joe Biden? If you did. I never voted for the guy, but if I had voted for him, I'd be pretty upset about what he's doing so far. You see the religious individuals being extremely upset about what he's pushing when it involves abortions. You see energy hawks. You see people who want to be independent energy-wise are now getting upset because of what's going on. You see foreign policy advocates being upset about what's going on in Afghanistan. Everybody is upset, from the extreme left to the extreme right. Everybody's upset with Joe Biden. I'm afraid about what's going to happen next. I think there's going to be an authoritarian crackdown. You see what's happening in Canada. It's only a matter of time before Joe Biden tries to do it here in the United States. I'm going to leave you with that. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. I'll see you all in a little bit. Have a good one.